So would I buy a boosted board in 2021? Yeah, hell yeah, I would. These things are phenomenal. I really love riding this. Whether a good used one or a brand new one. Listen, boosted board is a phenomenal electric skateboard. It is durable, good performance, excellent torque, dual motor. I mean, it climbs the hills. It's got a good top speed. The Stealth tops off at what, almost 25. The Mini X that I own, about 20. It's not bad. I mean, yeah, there's faster boards out there. There's boards that last, longer distances. But boosted, well, let's just say if you were to go to a car show and you see the Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Porsches, Bugatti Veyrons, beautiful cars, right? And then you come across Eleanor.
Air 1, we're over the pursuit. Suspect traveling southbound at 90 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's right. Your heart starts pounding and you get all excited, you look at it, the aesthetics are nice. Well, boosted board is, in my opinion, the Eleanor of electric skateboards. You hear Eleanor just throttling, just idling there. Same with a boosted motor. You hear that boosted motor, you get excited to ride. That's just the way it goes. But, so let's talk about the pros and cons. Well, what people would feel are cons, I see them as challenges or, obstacles to come over. Let's start with the biggest. Boosted, it's no longer. There is no more company. There is no more boosted boards being made. Whatever you get out there, you are buying, again, used or brand new, and the brand new is mostly coming from one source, Boosted USA. They bought all the remaining stock that Boosted had when they went under. They sold their rights or their name to Lime scooters, but they sold all of their stock to Boosted USA. And last I checked, they are still selling brand new Stealth, Mini X's, Minis, and Pluses. They had some refurbished ones or used ones, and for sale there as well, and a whole bunch of accessories. So if you are looking, I would say look there, because that's where your best bet to get a brand new one or a good used one is. Anyway, that's the biggest concern. There's no more boosted out there and that fantastic warranty, which in my opinion is one of the things that got them in trouble. But regardless, they did not go out of business because they built bad skateboards. Their skateboards are phenomenal. A matter of fact, they haven't made boards since they came out in 2018, or since they got under, but they haven't made new boards. And I still think the boosted boards are still one of the top-end boards out there. Again, opinion, perspective. That's what you're getting out of this video, this channel, perspective. As far as performance goes, they did have a couple of issues. Now here's where the obstacles come into play. First one was the motors. I made a video on it. The earlier motors, by the time they got to the V3s, they had it straightened out. But the earlier motors had an issue with an internal bearing. It would seize up, starting to cause wear and tear on the rod of the motor, and then that would cause vibration and motor noise, and then it would render useless, and then it's all done. Now, what happens? Oh, bunny went by. What happens, or what do you have to do when that goes through? You're not dead. A, you could fix it yourself or ship it out to get fixed. eBoard Stuff is a great company that does a rebuild. $100 a motor, brand new bearings inside, high performance bearings. They make sure the magnets are glued on, and they lifetime warranty it. Or you can go onto Amazon or eBoard Stuff and buy the V3 replacement boards. They're made by a company called I Wonder, and they both have them on sale for about $100. So that's one outlet for one of the issues that they had, the motors. Now, the other main issue that they had was with the battery. Firmware. Firmware was not allowing all the cells inside the battery to fully charge up. And once they got off level by a certain degree, it would call what they call a red light of death. They would turn on the red light, and then you can no longer charge it. You can no longer run the boosted off of it. It is dead. It's a big paperweight. So what do you do if that happens, or before that happens? Well, you got a couple options, real. So the first option, like the motors, you could buy a replacement one. Boosted USA has them, or you could check on eBay and that kind of stuff. Boosted USA, they had extra range ones. I don't think they had any more to standards, which is fine. In my opinion, you want the extra range anyway. But, so you could buy a new one. But what if you have the red light of death? Well, they have what they call an amnesia chip. You can install it yourself if you're good with dealing with electronics, if you're good with soldering, using a tester to test the voltage and that kind of stuff. I'm not good with that. So that e-board stuff, what I was saying for the e-board site that I was saying for the motors rebuild, they also put the amnesia chip in the battery. So you get the amnesia chip put in, it gets out of balance, trigger the amnesia switch, charge it back up, you're good to go. That's only if you had the earlier firmware that runs a risk of that happening. The 2.17, I think it is, I'll list it below. So if you had a boosted board when boosted was still around, and you paid attention to the firmware updates, they had one right before they went under, and it went from the 2.17, I think it was, to the 2.71. If you have that, you're in luck. Sometimes after that update, it would only charge up to 70%, or sometimes it was fine. But what you would do is you would plug it into the wall for 2 weeks straight. 2 weeks, after it would charge up to the full amount that it could, it would trickle charge the rest of the way up to 100%, and then you're good. You're all set. You're golden. After that, like this board that I'm riding right now has one of the old 2.17s. What I do now to make sure it maintains that and doesn't get closer to red light of death, I know I'm riding now, it's after 5 o'clock. I threw it on the charger first thing this morning, and I let it charge since then. Once it hit 100%, it's just doing a trickle charge if it's doing anything. So not worried about it. But that's the two big issues that they had. I mean, two small issues, right? Only the motor and the thing that makes it go. But any product out there is going to have some issues, and at least you know with a boosted board, if you potentially have the issue, you know what it is, you know what to look for, and there are resolutions. There are multiple avenues to do the repair or get a new one. And that's all you need to know for that. That's the information you need to know, that is. So everything else is just wear and tear items you can get all over the place. The wheels, like I have the Kagwamas on the Stealth and I have the Kegels on the Mini X. I prefer the orangutan wheels. I like the way that urethane feels. I like the way it sticks to the ground. I like the way it comfort rides. And I love the aesthetics. I love that orange wheel look, like when I used to have the V2. That's what attracted me to Boosted, that orange wheel look, and then the ride just hooked me from there on in. But like belts you can get all over the place, whether they're regular Kevlars, spacers, bearings, anything else that's wear and tear, you can get all over the place, so you don't have to worry about any of that. But to help them run at their peak performance, to help them last the longevity of the time, maintenance. I made a couple of maintenance videos, not what you have to do, but just what I do to keep them clean and running. And I don't know, I also want to make sure I'm riding this board that tops out at about 25 miles an hour. I want to make sure it's going to run safe and run to its best performance. So I tear them down, I clean out all the dirt, I make sure there's no rocks embedded in the belts or the gears themselves, make sure the gears don't have play. I also keep them nice and clean. And this way I know it's gonna do what I needed to do. When I needed to stop, hit the brakes, it's gonna stop or go. So that maintenance, don't underestimate it and don't undersell it. Do maintenance on them and get comfortable with tearing these boards apart. There's a few reasons why. One is for maintenance. You'll want to be able to take it apart, clean all the dirt, but the other is you're going to run into issues. A couple weeks ago, I'm about 5 miles away from my car, bearing blows out. Not a booster board issue, just a bearing issue, the bearing blows out. Again, 5 miles away. I could be going for a long walk holding an electric skateboard. That's almost 18 pounds or so. But instead, my backpack, I keep tools with me, I keep some extra bearings, spacers, nuts for the wheels, everything. 5 minutes later, I get the board back together with a brand new bearing, and I'm riding again, enjoying my day. My day did not get ruined at all by what could have been potentially a bad afternoon. Nope. 5 minutes later, back to jamming along. So would I buy a boosted board in 2021? Yeah, you bet your ass I would. I don't need to sell you in these things. I don't need to do a full review. You know them. You know they're fantastic. You know they got amazing torque, amazing braking power, the Bluetooth connectivity of this remote, the whatever the hell it's called with the idle to the brake-in. It's a nice smooth transition. These boards just go. They just work, and they are just so fun to ride. I mean, they really are. So that's it. I mean, that's all I can say about this phenomenal skateboard. But if you do want to discuss anything further or have a conversation in any way about it, hit me up below. Let's get a good conversation. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up, and if you want to see more, subscribe. I'll catch you next time. Later. Eleanor, gone in 60 seconds. Come on. All my friends in a low rider. Low rider gets a little higher. Bam, 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 bam.